U.S. officials say Secretary Kerry and President Abbas meet at an important moment in negotiations on a two-state solution to the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. The U.S. diplomats working to narrow differences over the boundaries of a Palestinian state and over the status of East Jerusalem, which Palestinians want as their capital. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has questioned the seriousness of Palestinian leaders at a time when there are divisions within his own coalition government. Former U.S. Ambassador Philip Wilcox says that makes finding agreement on a two-state solution even harder.
Nations generally make peace when they believe they have a shared interest in peace. I'm not persuaded that the current Israeli coalition under Benjamin Netanyahu believes that they have a common interest with the Palestinians in making peace.
Prime Minister Netanyahu has little incentive to compromise, says American University professor Hilary Mann-Leverett, pursuing instead what she calls a Fortress Israel approach.
There is no incentive for a resolution that would actually give the Palestinians something. The only incentive is to continue to build Fortress Israel. And part of the incentive to build Fortress Israel is to continue to have these threats, to have Iran as a threat, to have the Palestinians as a threat, but over there.
President Abbas is facing his own internal opposition to a peace deal with Israel in negotiations that appear less about reaching compromise and more about winning Washington's support. Foundation for Middle East Peace Research Director Jeffrey Aronson.
It seems from the outside, in contrast, that the discussions over the last 9 months have been essentially bilateral discussions between one of the parties and the United States rather than between the parties themselves.
With continuing clashes between the two sides, U.S.-led peace efforts are vital, says the former head of the multinational peacekeeping force in Sinai, Arthur Hughes.
The parties are being challenged. They're going to have to make some decisions because I'm convinced that the Secretary Kerry and the President are not going to back away from this.
Overseeing negotiations that include the growth of Israeli settlements in occupied territories gives the Obama administration credibility on other regional issues, says Hilary Mann-Leverett.
Strategically for the United States, it allows other countries, like the Saudis, like the Egyptians, to partner with us in ways that would otherwise be impossible for them. Because if we were just supporting what the Israelis are doing in the West Bank and Gaza, King Abdullah in Saudi Arabia couldn't give Secretary of State Kerry the time of day.
The original goal for these 9 months of talks was a comprehensive agreement on a two-state solution. The thinking now is to come up with at least a framework for that agreement so as to extend negotiations beyond the end of April. Scott Stearns, VOA News, Paris.